In Acts chapter 2, it talks about how the disciples are filled with the Holy Spirit on the day of Pentecost. But then there's other passages in Acts where it talks about how they're filled with the Holy Spirit oftentimes when they're going to preach in front of a bunch of people. There's something really important that's going to happen. They're filled with the Holy Spirit. There's this idea that we're continually supposed to be filled with the Holy Spirit. It's not just a one-time event, but that the Spirit of God is continually filling us up with His power, filling us up with His love, with His joy. There's different passages in Romans and Hebrews and all sorts of different New Testament texts that talk about how we're supposed to be full of the love of God and the goodness of God and the joy of God. And I was thinking about this. My pastor, Pastor Sal, was talking about this in his sermon the other day, and how we're just supposed to always be full of these things of God. And I kind of thought about it as like a diet. And our soul is similar to our stomach in that we must continually fill it up with something. And I was thinking about that. And I was like, we are always, not always, but maybe a lot of times, we're filling ourselves up with things that don't nurture our soul. We're filling our mind up with things that don't benefit us, that don't build us up. A long time ago, I was listening to a song, AC/DC song, and it's that song, I'm on the highway to hell, and I'm kind of mumbling along with it. I'm like, I'm on the highway to hell, and I stopped, and the Spirit spoke to me, and He said, like, why are you singing this? And I'm thinking, like, well, it's just a song. I'm like, no, it's not a song. I'm speaking words. I'm declaring something. I'm believing something, even if I don't believe it in the sense of like that's my destination. I'm saying things, which means that there's a part of me that's saying this is true. I'm participating with AC/DC in this celebration, right, on the highway to hell. And I don't listen to non-Christian music very often, but it made me realize like I'm devouring content. I'm putting things into my soul, nurturing myself with things that are belittling me and belittling my calling and destroying the very good work that God is doing. And God has called us to be full all the time, full of joy, full of goodness, full of righteousness. And so when I choose to fill myself with other things, like how is God supposed to have room in my life? How then is righteousness, goodness supposed to pour out of me? It's the same thing with my diet. If I'm always just eating cake and sweets and like, it's not bad to have it once in a while, but like you can't live off of that. You're supposed to live off of good food. And God designed our souls to be full of Him, full of good things. And I've just been thinking about that a lot lately, and it just is encouraged me to think like I want to just always fill myself with the things of God because I always feel better. I always feel more loving. I feel like I'm fulfilling my destiny when I'm filling myself with the things of God and His presence. And I think that's why we see in the book of Acts, like they're filled with the Holy Spirit. They're filled with the Holy Spirit. It is a continual thing. It doesn't just happen one time and then it's over with. Our relationship with God and being filled by Him is something that will continually, well, it's supposed to continually happen. So I want to encourage you, continue to be filled with the Spirit of God. Every day, call upon His name. He is ready. He is there to fill you up afresh and anew to do His will. Be filled with righteousness. Be filled with holiness. Let the things of God fill you so that's what pours out of your life. If we're filling ourselves up with things that aren't of God, that's what's going to pour out of our lives. That's when we feel discontent. That's when we feel lack of joy. That's when we feel selfish, when we have that inclination to do things that we know aren't right because we've been filling ourselves with a rotten diet. I hope you have a wonderful day and you learned something or were at least encouraged by this. And I love you. Hope you have a great day.